Okay, discuss possibly approve.
Do roll call.
Oh, I guess we better do roll call, yeah.
Lori Bradshaw,
Here.
Charles Trammell,
Here.
Joy Shropshire.
Here. Okay, that's usually on our agenda on the other one, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Discuss possibly approve the minutes of the March 11th, 2025 meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion and seconded. Discussion,
No.
call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes. Mayor's report, Mr. Mayor.
Alright, so we got our numbers in. We get the numbers in like at the very last, this morning, was it?
They weren't in
Late.
this afternoon today.
So they're coming right at the time for the meeting, so I apologize if I seem like I don't have a whole lot of information. I tried to get over it. Numbers came in for this month, 874,316, which is, it's up 2,500 for last month, from last month. So about $30,000 increase over last year in the gross sales tax. We look at the use tax, and
Wait,
that's
30,000,
up over last year on average.
Oh, on average.
but for the month, we're way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the month from last year, but I'm sorry, when I meant that, that's our annual average.
We're about 75,000, am I reading that right?
From last year?
Last year,
Yeah.
down.
And I wonder what hit last year that brought that up.
People can't buy eggs.
But last month we were up a whole bunch, so I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, and you'll see also, you look at the numbers on March, and this is part of the reason I do the color coding. If you take out that 2021 year, that is historically our lowest month across the board. That's the month that we're always low. And so I think we're getting to that tax season, all that spending, we're getting through there. We start getting out of that. Trend says we start to see a little bit of an incline coming out of this season. So use tax was up 13,000 over last month. So altogether we're at 992,076.54 for last month. And that does include the 4299.71 for tobacco tax, which is down about 400 bucks. That's pretty flat. It is what it is. We've got some catch up to do on the hotel motel, but that's not for this board anyways. When we break that all down, the formula distribute sales tax, that puts about 409,000 in the general fund for the month. Anyways, any questions on that? And then we got the numbers on the last week, I think it was just recently from Lori Blue for the February numbers. And we were 99,683.04 over expenses. So it's kind of where we talked about that trending in the right direction there. That's what we want to keep seeing. So that brought that down to year to date 416,000, where we were over 500,000 last month. So, you know, we're trending good. Not a whole lot of excitement going on there. You know, the encouragement to the departments as we wrap up the year is going to be start pulling the brakes a little bit on some of these things so we can coast out of the year without trying to, you know, because we're at the end of the budget, we don't need to start spending. That said, if you'll take a look, I don't know if any of you have your general fund financials with you. We do have a little bit of a glitch, and that's all it is. It doesn't change anything except for on paper. Somewhere in Cassell, and they're working on it. The budget totals, so the total budgeted amounts, got doubled. So they all know they don't have double, but if you go to like the PD and you go down to the bottom of his, and I'm just going to pick on the PD for example. His, you know, $3 million budget is now 6.5. It is not.
Right,
That's just a
right.
glitch in Cassell's, and they're aware we're working with them to get that. So And that's just the budgeted amount, that's not what they've spent. All of the other numbers are correct. That one just somehow, I don't know. We all, we kind of had a good laugh that all the struggles we've been through this year with financials, and we get to where we're starting to go right, and then all of a sudden, it's something like that, it's just it is what it is. At some point, we know where we stand, we know what we are, but we just have to kind of laugh at it and be like, of course it would do that. So, if you see that, don't get alarmed. Everybody's aware that their budgets are not doubled. They don't have, Jeremy and I very specifically had that conversation, you do not have 6 million. So don't go there. Don't go there. Don't think that you can all of a sudden spend. But I just want to make sure you guys are aware that we're on it. They're working with Cassell to get that done. While they're doing that, at the same time, Lisa and Hannah are also doing the transition into Paylocity. So there's a lot going on out of that office, sitting side by side. We've got a lot of things that we're still trying to get grants on and get things kind of squared away and figured out. But
When is Paylocity supposed to be up and running full speed?
well, we had set the date for May 2nd was our target. And so as we got into it, we got into the process. Hannah specifically made the decision that she would feel a little more comfortable with going out another pay period or so, knowing what was required of us. So it's just putting it at a pace that's a little more appropriate for us and a little less aggressive. But I think today, wasn't it today? They did their first major data extraction, and they're going to start collecting all the data. They're building, for example, the forms that, so like our time clocks that we bought, will create a CVT file that'll automatically upload into their system, and that's what'll create the pay times. So we've got to make sure that all of that jives with what we need. There is an element of that where we have to kind of say, we need this, we need this, we need this red flagged. So that's that part of that implementation that's hands-on right now, that has to be. We've got to tell them what our expectation is and what our tolerances are. So today was the first big, I don't know if you want to call it the suck of data that they're going to do, and they'll take that, they'll work on it for a couple days, and then they'll come back and say, okay, here's what we need now. Create that, upload it. So that ball is rolling. No more than 4 to 6 weeks is where we should be. So, and I've told them, and they're okay, and Hannah's okay. We're going to do that at Hannah's pace. So we want her to feel, we don't want it rushed.
You want to have it right the first time.
Correct. Correct. Any other questions?
I don't have any. You guys?
No, I just think we need to really keep an eye on spending,
We do.
given our
absolutely.
revenues are not looking like they should.
Yeah, they're down. So, like I said, that's going to be tomorrow's discussion with the department heads.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mayor.
I would say if there's any hiring actions, we probably ought to hold off till at least July.
I would agree,
Hiring actions.
yeah.
Okay, discuss possibly recommend council action to allow the city treasurer to transfer $150,000 from the fire department capital outlay account 44-445-5422 to invest in a CD for future purchase of the fire equipment. Entertain a motion.
Motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Chief Young.
Y'all have anything for me? We do this with the money we set aside for the fire truck reserve. And Miss Lori Blue's been awesome in setting that into CDs. This 150 that we set aside, we've got a CD right now with 150, and I plan on to continue that, which I won't ever see it or spend it, but hopefully the fire chief that replaces me has not only got a good set of gear and guys and trucks there, but he'll be able to replace and keep that deal. Because when we buy our trucks, we pay for them and they're done. We don't owe, or we're not leasing them or paying anybody for them. We just buy them outright. So it's just a way for us to take our capital money, invest it, and look down the road when we know those trucks are going to come up, and we'll take one out of service and throw another one in.
Sounds good. Any discussion?
No.
Call for the vote?
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Yes. Well, hang in there, chief.
Yes, sir.
Okay, get these on make it a little easier. Okay, discuss possibly recommend council action to approve accepting a bid from NAFCO in the amount of $3,399 for a rescue dummy to be paid from the fire department capital outlay account 44-445-5422. Other bids received C Western in the amount of $3,568, and Dingy's Fire in the amount of $3,657.85. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
So the rescue dummies aren't cheap, as y'all can see, but like this one, like the one we have now that we've had since 2012, 2013 is when we're trying to think back to when we had it. We've tore it out, but it actually's got a deal, so you can open it up inside the head and there's a monitor where you can pre-record something and it either responds back to you. So if the guys are coming in here doing a search and they're yelling fire department, it'll respond, or you can set it to where it's screaming or doing whatever. So the rescue dummies, I always joke, are kind of even smarter than the firemen, because now we can program the dummies to do more than what I can sometimes get my boys to do. But no, we're just replacing, and the one we got now, he's pretty much a duct taped guy and missing a leg and everything else. So we've run them as far as we can. So
He's kind of like that one on Mythbusters.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, he's done a good job for us, but he's ready to retire and find a recliner somewhere and just chill out for the rest of his career.
That sounds good. Further discussion?
No.
No.
Call for the vote?
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Trammell.
Yes.
Yes. I know of no, thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
I
Thank
know
you.
of no unforeseen business, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion, none discussion. Call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes, we are adjourned. That wasn't bad.
No.
You ought to see the